Are you a vet? Are you an active military or an eligible spouse looking to purchase a home? A VA loan is like a home buyer's secret weapon designed specifically for veterans, active duty military members, and eligible spouses. A VA loan is a mortgage loan that is guaranteed by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, or VA. The VA program is available to eligible veterans, service members, and surviving spouses to help them purchase, build, renovate, or refinance homes. Before diving in, I want to personally thank every one of you in our military who are members who are willing to put their lives on the line to defend our freedom and serve our country. My grandpa served in the Navy most of his life. My brother is currently active military in the Navy as well. I feel a deep admiration for those who are courageous enough to step forward and make the necessary sacrifices for all of us here in the United States of America. So thank you. I'm grateful for your service. I feel blessed to live in the United States of America, and I love our country. I currently live less than 30 minutes away from Hill Air Force Base here in Utah. I have helped many military families specifically looking to be near work in this area. Today, we're going to explore the ins and the outs of a VA loan, and I will introduce you to Hill Air Force Base in Utah. Where do you serve? What branch of the military are you in? Have you used your VA benefits and purchased a home? What was the biggest benefit? So if you are a veteran, active duty service member, or eligible spouse, why select a VA loan? One of the biggest perks is that there is no down payment required. That's right. While most loans ask for a chunk of change up front, the VA lets you skip that hurdle entirely. This can make a huge difference if you're looking to keep more cash in your pocket when purchasing a home. Don't misunderstand me. You will need around $3,000 minimum to complete the purchase of a new home, but we will get into that in a later video. Another major bonus is that you can avoid private mortgage insurance, otherwise known as PMI, which is typically required for loans with less than 20% down in Utah. The average cost of private mortgage insurance, PMI, is typically between 0.5% and 1% of the loan amount annually. This is often paid as a monthly premium that is included in the mortgage statement. Just to give you an idea of what that looks like as part of a mortgage payment, it's an average of $50 to $100 for every $100,000 borrowed. Over time, that can add up to savings of hundreds of dollars a month. And who doesn't love cutting monthly expenses? Plus, VA loans usually come with lower interest rates compared to other types of loans, so you'll be paying less in interest over the life of the loan. Remember, you will still need to qualify based on your credit and income, but VA loans tend to be a little more flexible with those requirements compared to traditional other loan types. To qualify for a VA loan, you must meet certain income and credit requirements, similar to other loan programs, and have a valid certification of eligibility, otherwise known as a COE. While length of service, duty status, and conduct can also affect your eligibility in the VA program, you may be able to obtain a COE if you are a veteran, active duty service member, or eligible spouse. So, if this applies to you, a VA loan is definitely worth exploring. It's one of the best ways to get into a home with less hassle and more savings. What questions do you have about VA loans? Have you been able to successfully secure a VA loan in the past? Or do you know someone who has taken advantage of VA benefits? Are you considering a job at Hill Air Force Base in Utah? Let's explore more about both VA loans and Hill Air Force Base. Let's talk a little bit more about Hill Air Force Base, and then I will go back to the VA loan requirements and the pros and cons of using a VA loan. Hill Air Force Base is located near Ogden, Utah, and it is one of U.S. Air Force's most important and historically rich installations. Established in 1940 as Hill Field, it was named in honor of Major Ployer P. Hill, a test pilot who died in a crash of the B-17 Flying Fortress prototype. The base was initially built as a maintenance and supply depot, playing a crucial role during World War II by overhauling and repairing aircrafts like B-17s, B-24s, and B-29 bombers, ensuring that they could return to combat. Since then, Hill Air Force Base has continued to support the U.S. military operations from the Korean War to present-day missions. It has been a hub for maintaining various aircraft such as the F-16, the Fighter Falcon, and A-10 Thunderbolt II, and also handles missile systems. Today, Hill Air Force Base is the largest employer in Utah, providing jobs to more than 23,000 military and civilian personnel. Besides its military significance, the base is home to Hill Aerospace Museum, which showcases over 80 retired aircrafts and attracts visitors interested in aviation history. Its strategic role, technological advancements, and economic impact make Hill Air Force Base a key asset not only for the Air Force, but also Utah's economy. Hill Air Force Base is a major U.S. Air Force base located in Davis County in Utah, just south of the city of Ogden and bordering cities such as Layton, Clearfield, Riverdale, Roy, and Sunset, with its largest borders immediately adjacent to Clearfield and Layton. It is about 30 miles north of Salt Lake City. A number of civilian career areas are in high demand by the Air Force, including scientists, engineers, contracting specialists, financial management specialists, budget analysis, cost estimators, police officers, as well as logistics and supply chain management specialists, and some medical specialists as well. When I say, or they say engineering, they have positions in material engineering, environmental engineering, mechanical, electronics, aerospace, chemical, industrial, and all in engineering, as well as computer sciences, information technology. For uniformed military career opportunities as an officer, enlisted members, or healthcare professionals, you would want to visit www.airforce.com. If you are seeking civilian employment with U.S. government, the USA Jobs website is the fastest and most comprehensive way to search for civil service career opportunities and information. Layton, Clearfield, West Point, and Syracuse, along with Clinton, are all cities located within less than 30 minutes from the base and offer a prime location for those who are military and civilians looking to find a place to live near work at the Hill Air Force Base. Hill Air Force Base employs more than 23,000 military, civilian, and contractor personnel, and spanning nearly 7,000 acres. Hill Air Force Base is the Air Force's second largest base by population and geographical size. The base is so large, it's actually larger than the whole state of Connecticut. Hill Air Force Base is a hub of activity for the depot maintenance of numerous aircrafts and weapon systems, as well as other military logistics and parts programs. Layton offers a perfect balance of urban amenities and scenic charm, very close to Hill Air Force Base. Clearfield, known for its affordability and accessibility with diverse housing options, is another great city. Clinton provides a tranquil retreat with small town charm and affordable living. All of these cities are near Hill Air Force Base, which operates one of the busiest airfields in the Air Force of approximately 45,000 operations annually. In July of 1939, Congress appropriated $8 million to establish and to construct Hill Air Force Base, and it officially opened in 1940. In a current news article, Representative Blake Moore introduced a new bill to address the housing concerns of military members, including those stationed at Hill Air Force Base in Utah. Moore said that after he joined the House Ways and Means Committee, Clearfield Mayor Mark Shepard approached him about wanting to build affordable homes for lower-ranking enlisted service members with the help of private developers. He said it's time for innovative solutions like the Low-Income Housing for Defense Community Act, aimed at bringing relief to military families living closer to major bases like northern Utah's Hill Air Force Base. The bill would provide tax credits to the developers who constructed affordable housing within 15 miles of military bases. Areas around at least 120 mid-level major bases would qualify. What housing issues do service members face in Utah? While there may be low-income housing in the area surrounding the installations, the list of applications for those units are so long that the military members either won't qualify because their BAH is included in their income calculations, or they are so far down the list that they have been relocated to their next assignment before they even make it to the top of the list. Shepard said the bill would also change the way income is calculated and exclude the housing allowance as income for service members. Having our military members who have volunteered to put their lives in the line to defend our national life in subpar housing or struggling to afford food because all of their available income goes to housing sends the wrong message to the military members and the community in which they live. Fueled by pandemic population shifts and Department of Defense programs at Hill Air Force Base, Utah experienced a 27% increase in housing costs and a 1.8% increase in population in 2021. The Hill Air Force Base spokesman told KSL News that the private housing on base is 98% full and the wait list tends to be 6 to 8 months long. Moore argued that the lack of affordable housing is becoming a national security issue because it impacts the readiness of military members at the Hill Air Force Base. As 100 of lower enlisted service members are struggling to afford housing near the base and officers are being forced to turn down assignments in Utah because of the difficult real estate market, this bill will spur development interest for low-income housing tax credit construction near larger installations like Hill Air Force Base. Another rep, Marilyn Strickland, who co-sponsored the bill, argued that the military readiness, retaining, and recruiting comes down to word of mouth. She told military.com in an interview. A recent military family life survey found that housing allowance and off-base housing were one of the top 5 concerns for active duty members and their spouses. In some of the markets that we represent, the cost of housing is higher because the supply is constrained, she said. Emily Craddock, CEO of Affordable Housing Tax Credit Coalition, said that the housing tax credit is a powerful tool that has been around for almost 40 years. The low-income housing tax credit in Utah statewide has financed over 33,000 affordable homes in Utah. The bill would aim to the construction of nearly 2 million homes nationwide. But she argues more is needed to be done, pointing towards inflation as a reason behind the high cost of housing. Moore also agreed that the bill is building block to solving a larger issue. We're creating a solution for some of the most important people that come into our communities, and they may only be here for a short time or in a season. They all do tend to retire back at Hill Air Force Base, though. We do take a bit of pride in knowing that we have so many former Hill Air Force Base active duty members retire here in Utah. Do you want me to do some research and help you find the best program for you? Do you want to learn more about the cities surrounding Hill Air Force Base? You might want to check out my other videos of different suburbs in the area. Leave me a comment below, or better yet, give me a call and we can go through your personal situation. My information is in the comments below. My brother, who is in the Navy, just took the plunge and bought a house. And let me tell you, he is loving life as a new homeowner. The best part, he was able to use his VA benefits, which made all the difference. I mean, being able to buy a house without a down payment, wow, that's a game changer. He found the perfect spot near his base in California, and it all came together so smoothly thanks to a rock star team of professionals I was able to refer him to in California. My brother was honestly a little overwhelmed at first, especially with all the paperwork and verifications needed for the loan. But the lender who he worked with was absolutely a lifesaver. The guy walked him through every step, making sure that nothing got missed. It's like the lender was his personal guide through the jungle of VA loan requirements. I love that I got to step in and play a little role in his process by referring him to an awesome real estate agent in California who specializes in working with military families. She had the perfect connection to a lender who was a VA loan pro. Seriously, having the right people in your corner makes all the difference. When you're chasing that homeownership dream, you need a solid team to help you navigate the process without losing your mind. Of course, my brother had some concerns along the way. He was a little nervous about the extra VA inspection and the requirements for the appraisal. You know, the one that makes sure everything's up to snuff before the loan gets approved. But his agent was a total pro. She helped him negotiate the necessary repairs so that the home met all of the conditions, no problem. Now he's over the moon about being a homeowner, especially since the VA program doesn't require mortgage insurance, which means he's got some big savings on his monthly payments. Every time we chat, he mentions how happy he is that his money is now going into what he calls his forced savings account, aka his home. No more lining of his landlord's pockets. Now he's investing in his future and building equity with every payment. Honestly, he's already looking forward to what homeownership will mean down the road. He's not just paying for the place he lives, he's investing in something that's going to grow with him. And I couldn't be more thrilled for him. Does that motivate you? Do you want to make a smart decision for your future? I am here to be your guide. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Salt Lake City, Utah, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to know about the current market in Salt Lake City, Utah and surrounding suburbs. My name is Janet with Living in Salt Lake City, Utah. We get calls and emails every day from people just like you looking to help us make their move to Salt Lake City, Utah and surrounding suburbs. And we absolutely love it. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. My information is in the description below so that you can make a smooth move to Salt Lake City, Utah and surrounding suburbs. Are you a veteran or active service member dreaming of owning a home in Utah? With a VA loan, that dream might be closer than you think, and you've earned it. Let me be the first one to say thank you for your service. Now it's my turn to serve you by helping you take advantage of one of the best home buying perks out there, the VA loan. These loans are issued by private lenders like banks, credit unions, or mortgage companies, but the VA also backs them by guaranteeing the loan once it closes. This means the lender is protected if something goes wrong and it cannot be repaid. But what does that mean to you? Let me break it down. First off, no down payment required. Yep, you heard it right. While some lenders may still ask for one in certain situations, most of the time you can skip that hefty upfront cost. And the cherry on top? No PMI, private mortgage insurance, even if you put zero down. That's a huge win because private mortgage insurance can seriously add up over time. Another bonus, VA loans usually come with lower interest rates, which means more money to stay in your pocket each month. And to sweeten the deal, closing costs are typically limited, so you won't get hit with a bunch of surprise fees at the last minute. VA loans can come with either fixed or adjustable interest rates, giving you the flexibility to pick which loan type works best for you. And while the VA doesn't require a minimum credit score, lenders usually like to see a FICO score of no less than 620. If you're going for a higher loan amount, like let's say you're thinking over $1 million, you might need a higher score. But hey, some lenders will approve lower scores. Just be prepared for a little extra paperwork and scrutiny. Now let's talk about the funding fees. While VA loans don't have private mortgage insurance, they do usually come with a funding fee ranging from 0.5% all the way up to 3.3% of the loan amount. The good news, if you're a disabled vet or receiving retirement or active duty pay instead of disability compensation, you're exempt from that fee. One important thing to remember, the home you're buying with a VA loan needs to be a primary residence. This isn't for a vacation home or investment property. You and your family need to plan on living there after you buy. So make sure it's a place you love. Before you close, your lender is required to give you a closing disclosure at least 3 business days beforehand. This document gives you a final breakdown of all the costs, so no last minute surprises. And you'll also need to verify at least 2 years of employment, but the VA is pretty flexible when it comes to job history, especially for veterans who are transitioning out of the military. So if you're thinking about buying a home with a VA loan, you've got a lot of benefits working in your favor. Just make sure that you've got a solid team to guide you through the process because homeownership is a huge win and VA loans make it a whole lot easier to achieve. Here are the not so bad cons of using a VA loan. All right, let's get real. No loan is perfect and VA loans have a few potential bumps in the roads, but don't worry, they're totally manageable, especially with the right team. That's where I come in. Let's dive into a few things to keep in mind when using a VA loan. First off, seller's concessions. They can't exceed 4% of the loan amount. Seller's concessions are just a fancy way of saying that the seller can help cover some costs like the origination fee, the cost to process your loan, or the appraisal fee. Speaking of appraisals, VA appraisals are mandatory and they get a little bit more strict than regular appraisals because they have to meet VA minimum property requirements. My clients sometimes get a little bit nervous about this part, so let's tackle the big question. What could fail a VA appraisal? In general, any visible health or safety concerns are a red flag. You won't be able to close on the home until these issues are fixed. But here's the good news. Sellers often cover the cost of these repairs to keep the deal moving forward. After all, they want to sell just as much as you want to buy. A really silly one that might be the biggest thorn in our side is peeling paint. In other words, there cannot be any raw exposed wood. This means that if there is any peeling paint, it would need to be fixed before we could obtain a loan. It's a fairly common thing for homes to have peeling paint on the exterior of the home. There's several solutions to this problem. The seller can agree to fix it, the seller can agree to hire someone to fix it, or the buyer can jump in and do the same. Fix it or hire someone to fix it. As long as we're prepared and understand what will happen, we can quickly address any items that come up and get them checked off the list so that we can move forward to the next step. Here's another big one. What happens if the home doesn't appraise for the offered price? Here's where the VA Tidewater policy comes in. Sounds fancy, right? This policy gives you a heads up. If the appraisal is lower than expected, this gives you a chance to add additional documentation to support the value that you're offering. But if there's no way to get the appraisal up to the purchase price, don't panic. You've got some options. The VA escape clause is a safety net. If the appraisal comes in low, you can walk away from the deal without losing your earnest money. Another solution could be to request a reconsideration of value, ROV. If you believe the appraiser missed something, you can contest it. They'll submit evidence to the VA Regional Loan Center to make your case for why the higher value should be established. You can also renegotiate the price. Sometimes we can come to an agreement with the seller and lower the purchase price to match the appraised value. As your agent, I can help you handle these negotiations so that you don't have to stress about it. But let's be real. Low appraisals happen for a bunch of reasons, from a super competitive bidding war to the condition of the property. If it does happen and renegotiation isn't an option, we might have to decide whether you're willing to make up the difference in cash or walk away. Remember that escape clause is always there to protect you. Not too bad on the cons, right? Especially if you have a professional to prepare and guide you through the process. Contrary to some rumors, VA loans don't take longer than conventional loans to process. The exact timeline will depend on your specific lender and the volume that they're working with. But overall, they're pretty quick. So here's another pro tip. Always ask your lender how long it will take to close your loan. You're not going to want to be left guessing. Whenever I am helping my client, we confirm with the lender the time needed to close the loan so that we reflect that in our offer to the seller. With the right support, navigating the VA loan process is no biggie. I'm here to help make sure everything goes smoothly, from managing appraisals to negotiating the best deal, so that you can focus on what really matters, getting the keys to your new home. Are you thinking of buying a home? If you're a service member or veteran, you may be eligible for a VA loan. And the great news is that many of the perks of this loan are unmatched by any other home loan option. Here is one last pro tip. A VA loan is reusable. Once you completely pay off a VA loan, you regain your full VA eligibility and can reuse it for another VA loan. You can reuse a VA loan as many times as you want, as long as the previous loan is paid off. Are you ready to take action and obtain a pre-approval to buy a house? To qualify for a VA loan, you must meet certain requirements, including service requirements. You must have served in the military in a way that meets one of the following requirements. Served 90 consecutive days of active duty during wartime. Served 181 days of active duty during peacetime. Served more than 6 years with the National Guard or Reserves, or served 90 days under Title 32 orders, with at least 30 days of those being consecutive. Spouse eligibility. You may be eligible if you're a spouse of a military member who died in the line of duty or as a result of service-related disabilities. Credit. You must have satisfactory credit. I have seen clients get approved with credit as low as 580 credit score, but the most common acceptable credit score is no less than 620. Income. You must have sufficient income to meet the expected monthly obligations. And then, of course, there's the certification of eligibility. you must obtain a valid certification of eligibility. Also, the property appraisal. The property must appraise for at least a purchase price. And remember, you can use your VA benefits more than once as long as you continue to meet the eligibility requirements. If you have any questions or want to go over more specific details and tell me your situation, give me a call or send me a text. My information is in the comments below. We can get you started on your path to homeownership. Some other special benefits for service member veterans and their families include property tax exemption, veterans hiring preferences, state education and tuition assistance, free admission to state parks and vehicle license plates, and hunting and fishing license privileges. Some builders, such as D.R. Horton, offer an additional $1,000 towards helping with buyers' closing costs for veterans and first responders and law enforcement. What a beautiful way to honor and acknowledge those who serve. There are other programs and benefits that come and go, so we will take a look into any available opportunities when it's time for you to buy your home. To sum it up, a VA loan can help you skip a down payment, avoid pesky PMI, and enjoy lower interest rates, all while putting yourself on the fast track to owning a home in this beautiful state of Utah. Whether you're stationed at Hill Air Force Base, retiring in Salt Lake Valley, or moving closer to family, this benefit is designed to help make homeownership not only possible but enjoyable. Plus, with limited closing costs and flexible credit requirements, it's one of the most powerful tools for veterans and active service members looking to settle down in Utah. Are you ready to make Utah your home? Let's team up. I am here to help you navigate the VA loan process and find the perfect spot to call your own. So let's make it happen together. Reach out today and let me get you started on the road to homeownership in Utah. You've served our country. Now it's time for you to reap the rewards.